Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Matt coming with another video for the Sin Bin, and I just wanted to explore the whole Mitch Marner situation. I don't know what I'm going to call this video yet. Probably something like, will Mitch Marner sign with the Maple Leafs? Something clickbaity. But as if the time of this recording, we are June 25th, 2019. And what's so special about that date? This date is special because today is officially the day where Mitch Marner can start talking contract with other teams that aren't the Toronto Maple Leafs. And if you guys have been living under a rock this whole time, that's fine. Well, Mitch Marner's entry level contract is up. He needs a new contract. And the team has kind of been going back and forth with the player. They're not really sure what the contract is going to be. They haven't come to a consensus, in summary. So I kind of want to explore that. I want to give my opinion on what Mitch Marner deserves as a contract, a really unbiased opinion here. And second of all, is he going to get that from the Maple Leafs? And before we get into all of that, into the crux of this whole chicken game between the team and the player, let's first look at the salary cap for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I'm on capfriendly.com here, and the Maple Leafs have a projected cap hit of 67 million. Now keep in mind, I don't know how accurate this is. It's capfriendly.com. It seems to be a really reliable source. A lot of people use it, and this is a projected number. Now, their cap space, how much space they have to sign players, is about 13 million, 13.5 million. And as I go down here, let's just kind of look at the players and their salaries. So we said that the space is 13 million. Keep in mind, this website isn't updated yet because a few days ago, Andreas Johnson here got signed for around 3 million, and Kasperi Kapanen got signed again for around 3 million. So while it says on the website that the Maple Leafs have 13 million in cap space, they really in actuality only have 6. So they have 6 players to sign. Sorry, excuse me, 6 players. They have 6 million to sign one of their franchise players. Good thing. Let me just start it off here. Good thing they managed to unload Patrick Marleau's contract because that's a contract that not a lot of teams would have taken. 6.25 million for a guy who's above 35 years old is a lot of money. So kudos to the GM, Kyle Dubas, for managing to get rid of that contract, albeit at a conditional first round pick. But so that being all said, 6.5 million is what's available. They're going to have to do a little bit of rearranging here to free up more space, but as we go down the list, Austin Matthews is getting paid 11 million, 11.6 million, and that's for let's see 1 2 3 4 5 years. Next there's John Tavares who signed that famous contract in the offseason, and he's signed to 11 million for 6 years. And then we get to the infamous William Nylander deal, where he signed to a little bit short of 7 million for 5 years. The reason why I say it's infamous because he was kind of in a similar situation as Mitch Marner. The only difference is that he's a year older, right? Or a year or two. He's a year older. So he got to do those talkings about the contract at the beginning of this year, and they weren't really seeing head to head. He missed a significant amount of hockey because he didn't have a contract. He couldn't get to a contract with Kyle Dubas. He ended up missing a lot of the season. Now, the parts of the season where he did play didn't go all that great. A lot of Maple Leafs fans are looking back at this contract and they're saying, should we have signed it at 7 million? Should we have let him go? Now, I know that a lot of people are saying this now when William Nylander had a, pardon my French, dog shit season. Would they have said that at the beginning of the year? Would they have had the balls to say, let this player go? Don't give him 7 million. They were probably saying we have to sign him at all costs. So, all that being said, he's here. He's getting paid 7 million. He's contributing to that salary cap. But next we have Nazem Kadri. As we need to move forward, we have Nazem Kadri who makes 4.5 million for 3 years. There's a lot of rumblings about Kadri getting traded. Obviously, his past two end seasons ended with him getting suspended. against the Bruins nonetheless. So a lot of people are fed up with him. They're saying a hockey player shouldn't act like this, getting suspended. What is he doing to his team? Now, while I agree with all of that, I don't agree with Nazem Kadri's been doing in the playoffs. 4.5 is a deal. And for a third line center, you get him at 4.5. I know you guys want to trade him, but that is such a good salary. That is such a good contract that you're kind of forced to keep him. And I was predicting him to get traded, but now that I really think about it and the type of cap crunch that they're in, the Maple Leafs, they have no choice but to keep him. Zach Hyman, he's a good player, only gets paid $2 million. And then here we go down, and we get to the restricted free agents. Now, let me reiterate myself. Janssen and Kapanen have been signed. They've been signed to, I don't have the specifics, but I know it's 3.4 at the cap hit each, and I think it's for 3 years. So now we're left with Tyler Ennis. Given how little cap space the Maple Leafs actually have, um, I don't see him coming back with the team. And they have Mitchell Marner. So as I said in the beginning, in order to free up cap space, Kyle Dubas is going to have to do a few moves here. What's one of those moves going to be? Well, we know that Nikita Zaitsev wants out, and I don't know how good the return is going to be on him, but um, just getting rid of this 4.5 million until 2023-2024 is a reward within itself. So if he manages to unload some of that, that's going to help a lot in order to free up cap space to sign Mitch Marner. Jake Gardiner, right here as we jump to the bottom, is an unrestricted free agent. Um, I know they would really like to sign him. I know he's been kind of the whipping boy. Him too hasn't been ending the seasons properly, similar to Nazem Kadri. But I think, given how let's not face it. Let's face it right here. They don't have the deepest defense in the world. So I think even Jake Gardner having him on the team is something that's beneficial. And we know how much what's his name, Mike Babcock likes his left-handed defenseman on the left side and his right-handed defenseman on the right side. So all that being said, I know they would really like to keep him. I don't see it though, given the cap situation. And then we get down to the goalies, and holy moly, that Nathan Horton I just looked at, he's on his injured reserve list. He makes 5.3 million. I'm sure they would like to unload that. 2020, 2021 couldn't come any sooner. And they're obviously still retaining salary from Phil Kessel. They have 1.2 million until 2022 that's going towards a player that's not even on the team anymore. So I just wanted to do a brief overview here, seeing how the salary cap is being distributed throughout the team, which players sort of take the biggest piece of the pie here, and then let's move on to the main star here, Mitch Marner. And when I say main star, I mean of this video. I'm not talking about the Maple Leafs. But that does bring up a good point. Does Mitch Marner deserve Austin Matthews money? I think that it's kind of a complicated situation. There's an argument to be said on both sides. Now, let's just see his stats right here. So, he's a right winger. Keep that in mind because that will play into the contract with the position he's playing. Born in 1997, which would make him 22 years old. He's 6 foot. I don't know how true that is. He looks like a little bit of 5'11, but let's just say for sake of argument, he's 6 foot and weighs 175. Not the heaviest player on the team. In fact, he's got the build of a little boy here. And he was drafted fourth overall. And the 2015 draft, if you guys don't remember, that was the Connor McDavid draft. And the Maple Leafs must have been extremely happy to get an Ontario boy from Markham, Ontario, fall in their laps at number 4. And especially, granted, the players that were picked ahead of them, I think they really did well at the number 4 position. His first year with the Maple Leafs was in 2016. He managed to notch 61 points, 19 of them were goals. Um, I don't know if it was his first season or his second season where he encountered a few problems. Babcock played him on the fourth line many games. I believe it was his first season, but moving on to 2017, 2018, he played 82 games and got 69 points. Now, not only is 69 points a funny number, it's also a lot. And he was at the time 20 or 21. That's a lot of points. 69 points is a lot. And now, in 2018-19, he gets his career year. He gets 94 points. Now, that's really good for the player, Mitch Marner, that he gets 94 points, and it's even good for the team. It's a team sport. But from a financial standpoint, they must hate it that he had his career year, the year that his entry level contract was ending. Let me give a counterexample. Patrick Laine probably played his worst year, the year where he needs a new contract. So he's not going to get as much had his last year and his first year been flipped around. Oops, sorry, hitting the microphone is getting violent here. He's not going to get as much. He doesn't have much leverage. Mitch Marner, on the other hand, has all of the leverage in the world. So 94 points. I know that the Mitch Marner camp thinks that he's every bit, if not better than Austin Matthews. So let's just explore that and look at Austin Matthews, what he's getting in terms of numbers. So Austin Matthews was drafted number 1 overall. Obviously, he's their center, franchise cornerstone player. And I was listening to Leafs Lunch, I believe it was, and people were saying that although Mitch Marner is really good and he gets a lot of points and he led the team in points for the past I don't know how many years, when they think about the franchise players of the Maple Leafs, they think of Austin Matthews. Now, I'm not too sure if I would agree with that. I'm kind of biased towards Mitch Marner. He's kind of one of my favorite players, but let's look at his points right now. So his first year he gets 69 points. His second year, he gets 63 points, but that was in 62 games. And his third year, he gets 73 points in 68 games. As you can see by the total games played, he's struggled to stay healthy. Now, the fact that the Maple Leafs signed him to 5 years at 11.5 million, they don't have that in mind. They believe that he can rehabilitate properly and be totally healthy for the upcoming years. They don't think that injuries are an issue. So, in terms of number, they're very comparable. The only difference is that Austin Matthews has missed a considerable amount more of games when compared to Mitch Marner. So, I alluded to before, I said keep the position in mind. So, Austin Matthews is a centerman, Mitch Marner is a right winger. In this league, centermen are at a premium, and because of that, they are most likely going to get a higher contract. That's just the way it is. Centermen are kind of, if not apart from goalie, they're probably the most important position on the ice, especially when compared to a right winger. A lot of people in the NHL view right wingers as depending to their centermen. I don't know if I subscribe to that theory, but it's a good argument. I don't. A lot of people are going to say that Mitch Marner managed to get 94 points because he played with John Tavares. And I know that Mitch Marner's camps are saying the opposite. They're going to say, hey, John Tavares never scored above 37 goals. And now he's playing with Mitch Marner, he gets 47. So, back to what I said at the beginning, it's just a game of chicken, both teams going at it. Um, in my opinion, I think that I'm trying to have the player's interest in mind, I'm trying to have the team's interest in mind. I think that a reasonable contract for Mitch Marner would be the exact same as Austin Matthews, 11.5. That way, um, not one side is pissed off. Both sides are happy. They got the same thing. It's not like Mitch Marner is going to say, well, he's making more. And it's not like Austin Matthews is going to say, well, he's making more. They're making the same thing. There's no problem. But I don't know in this day and age how well your team's going to do if you're paying 11 million for 3 players. They're all three receiving 11 million each. But that's another video for another day. I'm just saying what I think the player deserves, and I think if you look at the talent of Mitch Marner, he should get between 10 and 11 million, 11.5 let's say, and the term I don't really care, let's say 5 years, 5 to 8 years. So that's what I think. But what do the experts think? So as I open this window here, I don't know how familiar you guys are with it, but there's a show on Sportsnet called The Tim and Sid Show. It's a sports show where this man, Sid 60, and Tim, his last name is escaping me, they sit down, talk sports. And the hockey analyst, Elliott Friedman, was on it, and they had a segment. And it's on this segment where he reported that the Leafs are willing to pay him 11 million, but only if the contract is a long-term one. And when they say long term, he's not giving an exact number here, but you got to think it's around 8 years. In fact, let me just read the article here so you guys get the whole point of view. So, the top priority for the Toronto Maple Leafs offseason is re signing restricted free agent Mitch Marner. Duh. They got Austin Matthews' extension done during the regular season, but Marner is proving to be far more difficult to negotiate with. According to the latest NHL rumors, he recently rejected a long-term offer for 8 years with an 11 million average annual value. So my apologies, he did get offered 8 years at 11 million, and that came from Elliott Friedman. Negotiations are heading the wrong way, and with teams eligible to sign him to an offer sheet on July 1st, time is running out. Marner would prefer a short term deal, much like the one Matthews signed, at a 5 year deal with an average annual value of 11.63 million. Now, this was kind of a concept that was foreign to me because throughout my years of watching hockey, it seems that free agents, whether it be restricted free agents or unrestricted free agents, they always want to get the longer term. They want to make sure they're set for the most amount of years and they're going to get their money for as long as they can. Now, it seems to be the opposite for Marner. He wants to get a shorter term. Does this make sense? Well, it kind of actually does. If I'm thinking in Mitch Marner's head right now, he's probably thinking the salary caps is going to go up in a few years. Right now it's at 81 million. Who knows? You know, in 5 years from now, it might be 90 million. That's just I'm not saying anything factual. It's just me spitballing. But for sake of argument, let's say 5 years from now, it's going to be 90 million. He can get a much higher contract at a short term deal because at the end of those 5 years, he's signing a new contract under that new salary cap. So he'll be able to get more money. The Toronto Maple Leafs obviously have this in mind as they want to sign him to a longer deal. Now, Matthews has proven to be an elite goal scorer. Over the past 25 years, Alex Ovechkin and Paul Kariya are the only two players who have averaged more goals per game in their first 3 seasons than him. The latter is a Hall of Fame player, and the former is considered to be many by the greatest goal scorer ever. Sure, Matthews has trouble staying healthy, but when he's on ice, he has a skill. He can be a point per game, and he can be elite. Scoring goal gets you paid, and everything Matthews has done so far suggests he is nothing short of an elite goal scorer. So this article here on puckpros.com, there's obviously of a Matthews a bent to it. They're leaning towards Matthews. They're saying that he deserves his contract. Mitch Marner shouldn't get as much as him. And the reason that they pointed out why is the goal scoring prowess. I had said that Matthews is a centerman, but the goal scoring thing is an argument well taken, and I would tend to agree. Let's just see. Austin Matthews in his first year scored 40 goals. And God bless him. There's not too many players that can just come into the league and on his first year score 40 goals, make that much of an immediate impact. And his following years, he scored 34 and 37 goals, but it's not as much, but he didn't play as many games. Keep that in mind. Mitch Marner never crossed the 30 goal mark, and in this league, goal scoring seems to be valued much more than passing. So that is definitely hurting Mitch Marner. Being a right winger and being a pass first guy is hurting Mitch Marner. And as I said before, having John Tavares next to him is also going to hurt him because the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to say, sure, you're scoring a lot of points, but you're playing with John Tavares. And I'm not saying I agree to that because I actually think that Mitch Marner may be making John Tavares a little better. And actually, I'll put it this way. They're both working in a synergistic way. They're helping one another. And so I don't know what the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to end up doing. They're obviously going to have to make a few trades, get Zaitsev off the cap to relieve some cap space, and at least make a decent offer to Mitch Marner. But as we've been hearing it over and over again, the offer sheets are going to come. There are many rumors out there, and they've been going on all season long, that offer sheets are going to come for Mitch Marner. And if it's not Mitch Marner, it might be someone else. This 2015 draft was probably one of the strongest drafts in recent memory. Everyone talks about 2003. I think that the 2015 draft is the new 2003. If you look at the players that came out of there, and actually let's see if we can see it right here. There's obviously Connor McDavid. There's Jack Eichel. There's Dylan Strome, who reinvented his game in Chicago. Mitch Marner, Noah Hannafin, Pavel Zacha, who, looking back at that, that's kind of a dud. There's Ivan Provorov, Zach Roinski, Timo Meyer, Mikko Rantanen. I mean, there's just some big names here. Matthew Barzal. If it's not towards Mitch Marner, it's going to be towards a Rantanen, a Timo Meyer, Braden Point, who was later selected in that draft. So I wouldn't be surprised to see one. They're really rare. I believe, and don't quote me, I believe the last one was done on Ryan O'Reilly. You can go back on my channel. I made a video about it, actually. And before that, the one I can recall that comes to my head is Shea Weber. Shea Weber, who was a part of the Nashville Predators at the time, the Philadelphia Flyers offered him a contract, and obviously the Nashville Predators equaled it, and he would remain a Nashville Predator until the inevitable trade to the Montreal Canadiens. So I'm getting off topic here. I think I'm going to end it. I think we had a good discussion. If you've made it this far in the video, well, first of all, congratulations. You've made it. There should be a t-shirt or something or a souvenir. And I hope that you really liked it. If you think I deserved it, please hit the like button and please subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers before the month of October. I think that's a tangible goal to reach, and I need you guys to help me. So if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. My name is Matt, signing off.